Very different tone on Monday, but when he said tonight that insurance executives are bad people, it took me back because it was so harsh and I think unfair, but it's part of their polling. Let's roll this tape, and I want to get your reaction to it.
Without competition, the price of insurance goes up and quality goes down. And it makes it easier for insurance companies to treat their customers badly by cherry-picking the healthiest individuals and trying to drop the sickest, by overcharging small businesses who have no leverage, and by jacking up rates. Insurance executives don't do this because they're bad people. They do it because it's profitable.
All right, now here's what
Halloween hoopla. Are you anti-Halloween?
No, can I tell you something? Halloween is teaching our kids to be liberals.
What are you going as this year?
No, I'm not. Hillary Clinton, frightening.
That's a cheap shot. Come on.
Well, it's the number one. It's the number one most frightening mask out there. Go look at the papers yesterday.
You're scared that she's going to be president of the United States.
No, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why. Because we're teaching kids to knock on other people's doors and ask for a handout. That's how we turn.
Is Christmas a liberal holiday then?
No, but you offer gifts. You give on Christmas.
You give on Halloween.
No, you don't give. Please, can I have some more?
It's the act of giving around. That's our producer laughing. But it's the act of giving. It's a wonderful thing. Isn't that a Christian thing to give, to share with your community?
Not teach your kids to beg.
It's not begging, because you do it too. They do it there at their homes.
You're teaching your kids to beg for a handout.
Anti-Halloween. That is unfortunately all the time we have left this evening.
Hey, Governor Sean Hannity.
They let you on the floor of the Democratic convention, Sean?
Can you believe it? Hey, if we could kill my audio up there. Governor, I can tell you the one thing, I'm calling it the reinvention convention, and that is, you know, here leading up to this convention, we had people like Al Gore and Howard Dean, yourself. You were out there very critical of the president. Yep. Ted Kennedy has been saying that he's a liar, and other people have been making all sorts of attacks. My question to you is this contrived? Is this phony? Did we hear the real Democratic Party in the last year?
I think what we're seeing is there was a lot of anger at George Bush. We didn't feel that he won fairly in Florida. We did feel that he sent us to war without telling us the truth about why we're going. There's a lot of stuff. We've lost a lot of jobs. But I think what this convention really is, I hope, is a turning point. We can't win if we only have a negative message. Everybody understands that. So if we're going to win, we're going to have a strong, positive message coming out of the convention, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, you say that about we weren't telling the truth about going into Iraq, but John Edwards and John Kerry both laid out the case about weapons of mass destruction the way the president did. Why does he get a pass from people like you?
Well, there are other things that the president told us that were not so. There was no connection between al-Qaeda and Saddam Hussein. Even the 9/11 Commission just said so. There was no...
said, in fact, there was friendly
No, that's not what they said, Sean. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what they didn't say. And if you think they should, you should watch Out Fox. It's a great movie, and it says why people like you say things like that on this this television station.
Well, Obama attacks America. Now, speaking to an audience in France, this is what the president said this very morning.
In America, there's a failure to appreciate Europe's leading role in the world. Instead of celebrating your dynamic union and seeking to partner with you to meet common challenges, there have been times where America has shown arrogance and been dismissive, even derisive.
And the liberal tradition of blame America first, well, that's still alive.
And been dismissive, even derisive. But in Europe, there is an anti-Americanism that is at once casual but can also be insidious. Instead of recognizing the good that America so often does in the world, there have been times where Europeans choose to blame America for much of what's bad.
Now, you won't believe his answer to Major's very first question.
Mr. President, are the Russian sensitivities so fragile that you can't say the Cold War was won, the West won it, and it was led by a combination of Democratic and Republican American presidents?
There were a whole bunch of people throughout Eastern Europe who showed enormous courage, and I think that it is very important in this part of the world to acknowledge the degree to which people struggled for their own freedom. We don't have to diminish other people in order to recognize our role in that history.
Unbelievable. He also decided to give 9/11 sympathizers a voice on the world stage.
I'm aware that there's still some who would question or even justify the offense of 9/11.
And throughout the speech, Mr. Obama spoke out of both sides of his mouth.
Over 7 years ago, the United States pursued al-Qaeda and the Taliban with broad international support. We did not go by choice. We went because of necessity. I'm aware that there's still some who would question or even justify the offense of 9/11. But let us be clear. Al-Qaeda killed nearly 3,000 people on that day. The victims were innocent men, women, and children from America and many other nations who had done nothing to harm anybody.
Sometimes he tries to be too high-minded. He tries to be the guy who bridges differences, who's post-partisan.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. This is garbage you're spewing here.
No name-calling yet. You'll get your
no,
turn
it's
in a
not
minute.
name-calling. It's garbage you're spewing.
He's the guy who's trying to be idealistic, and this is a cutthroat campaign.
He's hiding who he really is. You don't hang out with Flager and Ayers and Wright for 20 years and then just say, oh, I didn't hardly know these guys. And if you want to believe that garbage, you go right ahead. You are voting for Obama, by the way. This is a pro-Obama book. You are voting for Obama.
But I'm not here to do Obama talk.
Stop it.
I'm not here to be insulted either. You're doing RNC talking points.
Excuse me, I don't have RNC. These are Hannity talking points. I write the talking points.
Yeah, where do you get
Here's what we have. You say, you spew this line, DNC talking points.
You said the economy. Stop insulting me or I'm walking off the set.
Go ahead, go.
Are you going to let me have
Leave.
my 2 minutes?
I don't care. Go right ahead. Walk off. Yeah, you said the economy's in dire straits.
It is in dire straits. You're going to deny that, you fool?
Sir, you fool, you idiot.
You're going to deny that the economy's in dire straits?
Sir, unemployment in this country has been lower than the last 4 decades. Economic growth in the last quarter was 3.3%. Interest rates, inflation have been lower in the Bush years than they've been in the last 3 decades, and you are trying to convince the people of America that something is true.
Do I get a turn to talk?
Go ahead.
Well, if you can persuade the American people that the average family is doing great, your guy deserves to win the election. But I don't think the American people are that stupid.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying dire straits. You know what? Here's the position you Democrats are in. You got to convince the American people the surge has failed, the war is lost.
I'm talking about the economy.
Excuse me. We had record unemployment compared to the last 4 decades, lower than the last 4 decades average, 3.3% growth, and you're using the term dire. You've got to convince the American people the economy's in bad shape and the war is lost, and it's all based on a lie. That's not true.
Excuse me. It's based on people's own lives. People's health insurance are going up in smoke. People's pensions are going up in smoke. People's jobs are being exported to China. Unemployment is 6.1% and rising. The administration is bailing out Wall Street because of Republican deregulation.
And we got out of the recession that Clinton Gore gave us, and we got out of the negative impact on the economy on 9/11. Now, we have made one...
If you think the economy is great, you campaign on that.
And Barack Obama wants to spend $1 trillion on new spending, $1 trillion in new government spending and nationalized health care. Is that good for the economy?
We probably need more than that. You talk to you talk to the average person about their insecurity of health care.
So you want the government to answer all our problems?
Well, the Secretary of the Treasury, Mr. Paulson, apparently does when it comes to bailing out Wall Street.
The same government that bankrupted Social Security, the same government that bankrupted Medicare?
Is in much better shape than Citigroup or
bankrupt.
Morgan Stanley, or if most of the banks on Wall Street were in as good a shape as Social Security, this country would be in great shape.
You're dreaming.
The election is going to turn on whether pocketbook issues trump Sarah Palin's
We also need
story.
to drill, and he's wrong on that.
Welcome back again to a special post-debate edition of Hannity and Combs. And you, the viewer, by the way, have been participating in our You Vote text messaging poll to see who you think won tonight's debate. And here are the results as of now. In first place with 35%, Ron Paul. Rudy Giuliani came in second.
Oh, here we go again.
Driving Hannity crazy.
Driving me crazy.
With 16% of your votes. Welcome back to a special post-debate edition of Hannity and Combs. And before we get to our next guest, let's take a look at the results so far for tonight's You Vote. In first place with 33%. Ron Paul, the Paulites, I guess, busy dialing and redialing on the phone.
You know what? They're redialing by the second.
All right, Rudy Giuliani came in second with 6.
He's having all those 3% of people call in. I'm sure he got 33.
Maybe he just did very well.
He got 33%. Well, it happens. Anyway.